Guys, it's Evelyn and welcome back to my channel, and here's week 4 of the Faster 5k training updates. Unfortunately, hasn't been a good week training wise. So the plan is 3 sessions, an interval speed work session, a 5k tempo or fast paced session, and a long run. And as I normally do a run streak, in between times it'll be either a mile, depending on what I feel like. It's been lovely weather though. That's a good thing of the week. It's been gorgeous weather. So those days I've been walking first, maybe a 1-2 mile walk first, and then run back for a mile. So that was quite good. And it was a good way of enjoying this outside space while I can, my 1 exercise a day, as we're still in lockdown for much of the foreseeable future. Sometimes the first run of the week, I would try and test out how fast my mile would be. The first Monday and Tuesday, I wasn't running fast. If I look at my, I've got my iPad here with Garmin Connect running. The first 2 days miles were, so Mondays was 11:33, and that was a 7:09 pace. And Tuesdays was a little bit faster, but 11:02. So 11-minute mile is not bad. That's 6:51 pace. And then, you know, last week I was saying I planned to do my speed work session on a Tuesday. It ends up being on a Wednesday. This week it ended up being on a Thursday. So Wednesday was another mile, but faster at 10 minutes 49. So getting there slowly. So that was a 6:35 pace. Thursday came along, and I think Wednesday I didn't do it because it was so hot that day, and I think the temperatures just shot up overnight really, and by the time I got out there it was too hot, so I ended up not doing it on the Wednesday. And then Thursday I attempted it, tried to get out as early as I could, but I ended up going at about 8:10, so not as early as I would have hoped, but before work anyway. Started off slow. So my first 10-minute warm up, the distance in the 10 minutes is normally at least 1.5 kilometers. I mean, it wasn't so much less, but it was less. It was 1.42 kilometers for that first 10-minute warm up. My first 400-meter interval, it took me 2:11 to do 400 meters. And that was a pace of 5:28. So I'm between the 5 and 6 minute kilometer pace, but on the slower side. I couldn't jog the recovery, so it ended up being a walk. The next interval session took me 2 minutes 20, so slightly longer. That's 5:51 pace. The next interval was 2:14, a little bit faster, 5:36, and then 2:09, getting there. 5:23, and then it went back down to 2:23. I started off another interval session, so that would have been the 6th one, but I wasn't having it. I wasn't having it, and I couldn't work out how to cancel the workout or push it through the intervals to then just run home and do a cool down. So I ended up just stopping the session. So it took 29 minutes 31 seconds to do 4.1k in that interval process. And then I ran 2k back home. So slower session, less distance, took me longer. Oh, I just didn't feel good. I don't know, I wasn't in the mood, and I was all ready to hand the towel in and forget the whole thing. It's like, this is the 4th week. I should be improving, I should be getting faster, but I was getting slower. I know what it is. I'm putting on weight, and I really notice the more weight I put on, the slower and the more lethargic I'm getting, so I need to sort it out. But I'm just not in this headspace to do it, so I'll get there. I'm still running, that's the main thing. The next day would have been a mile rest day, but I felt so bad about my poor performance, so I thought I'd just try and run a 5k. This should not have been my tempo 5k session, but ended up being the only 5k of the week, so I have to use it as that. I did try and run it as fast as I could, but it was slower than last week's 5k. It was 31 minutes 15. So if you look at the elapsed time, it was faster. It didn't stop. I ran all the way. I did walk. I didn't stop my watch, but I didn't run the whole distance. I kept moving. I did about a 1k run and then walked for like 100 meters, and then a 1k run, walk for 100 meters. And that seemed to work out well. So ended up being 31 minutes 15, which is not too bad. So Saturday was supposed to be park run day, feeling my lazy self, so I didn't even get up to do the quiz. Went out at 12:30 on a Saturday. What's that about? As I was feeling bad about my performance in my interval session that week, I felt a bit better about my 5K, but because I wasn't doing a 5K on the Saturday, and I think it was because it was so hot, it was 21 degrees at the time I got out there, and I thought I can't be doing 5K in this weather, especially a fast one. So I ended up just doing a mile just to make myself feel better. I tried to run it as fast as I could, and I ended up doing it in 9 minutes, 9:58. So just under 10 minutes. So that's the fastest mile of the week. So I was like, oh my gosh, it's still there. I just need focus. And then long run Sunday, I had it in my head that I wanted to do 13 miles just so that I could do it every other week, 13 miles. But again, it didn't go to plan. I left about 8:30, so not too bad time-wise. It was about 13 degrees, so still a bit on the warm side, but not too bad for running. It's Easter Sunday. It's Easter. Happy Easter, by the way. So it was Easter Sunday, and obviously everybody has got up to do their walk. They weren't like overcrowding or anything. They were all on their own or in their families. You could see that they were in their families, but there was so much more people out there than I was expecting at 8:30 on a Sunday morning. And so I was a bit discouraged to run my whole route that I wanted to run. That's not what stopped me from doing the 30 miles. I don't think I was ready to do it that day. You have to be in the mood to do it, I think. And normally if I'm running and I feel better, I would carry on. But there's so much more people as the time ticked on, as the day ticked on. So I thought, nah, I'll just go home, it's fine. But I started off in that little trail area that's at the top of the hill. So that slowed me down a little bit because of its grass and it's on a hilly side. Not hills as in I was going up the hills and down, but you're sort of running on your side and it's grass and uneven ground. So that sort of slowed me down for the first 3K. So I was doing like a 7:15 average pace for a kilometre. And then once I got past that, I went a different route round to join the busway, which will take me to Dunstable. And there's a nice path that you can run up, takes you all the way to Dunstable. My plan was to run all the way, run to where I used to live. And then I had this route planned out. But in the end, there's so many people coming through from Dunstable, the path there, that I didn't want to come back because I'll be just running through them and weaving around. So I went back onto the street, and it was actually quieter on the road than it was on the busway. So I ended up running on the road or on the street, on the pavement obviously, and then joined the busway at Tesco, so it was halfway down, and then ran back. So I think everybody's at the Dunstable end because that's where the bottom of the downs is, and so people are all walking up towards that way. So I sort of bypassed those people by going around onto the street and then rejoining halfway back down. I ended up doing 13K, so about 8 miles. So definitely more than the 6 miles I did last week, but not the 13 that I was intending to do. But a long run was done, completed. So I completed my sessions, completed the speed work. Well, I failed on that one, but I did do 5 intervals in the end, so I only missed out on the 3. And I did my 5K run, although it's not as fast as pace as it could have been, but I might incorporate that going forward, make it an extended interval session. So have a little walk break, and that seems to help me get faster. And then my long run, it was an enjoyable run though. I did enjoy running slower, taking in the sunshine, taking in the fresh air. So although it was slower than I'm normally running, I enjoyed it more. That was probably one of the most enjoyable runs itself over these last few weeks. So what does that mean for the Faster 5K program? During that week, I said to myself, what is the point? I'm not going to bother. I'm not getting faster. This 4-week cycle, I should be at 29 minutes by now, and I'm not. So what's that about? So I was thinking, oh, I'll just cancel it. I'll just run every day and see how it goes. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to cancel it. I might not get to the Faster 5K in the time frame that I want. I'm still going to incorporate those 3 sessions going forward. This is a new 4-week cycle to start, so I'm going to mix it up. So the new plan, I've not really worked it out, so I'll come back to you and tell you, but I tend probably to do a pyramid type session. So start with a 200 meter at a faster pace, and then 300 meter at a faster pace but slower, and then a 400 meter at the 5K pace, and then maybe 500 meters. I know most of them go up to 1200, but I don't think I'm there. So I'm just gonna do 200, 300, 400, 500, and then come back down. So 200, 300, 400, 500, 400, 300, 200. And as the distance or the interval gets longer, my pace should get slightly slower. So the fastest pace will be at 200 meters. So that should be at the 5 end. And then the 500 meters should be at the 6 end. That's the plan. And then we'll take it from there. So I don't know how long that will be overall. I'll come back to you next week and see how it goes. As I say, I'm sticking to those paces in my head, but if I don't do them, I'm not gonna beat myself up about it, because I think that's what brings me down as well. I'm like trying to do it and I'm not doing it. So I just feel like I'm failing, and I'm putting on the weight and I'm getting slower. So I think I'm failing on my diet. I'm failing in life. I'm not, but it just feels that way. Trying to be positive. That's my update for you. Sorry, it's not going to plan, but you can still use those sessions and hopefully you're improving yourself if you are trying them out. Good luck in your attempts. And I feel that I'm going to try harder next week. Keep your fingers crossed for me. Anyway, I hope you like this update. Hope you like the video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe, and I will catch you next week. See you. Take care. Stay safe. Bye.